Welcome, everybody. We'll go ahead and call the December 6th Board of Education special meeting to order, and a roll call, please, Mrs. Haas.
Mr. Nickram?
Here.
Mr. Paul?
Here.
Mrs. Reynolds? Here. Mrs. Bukta?
Here.
Mr. Cheney?
Here. Please join me while we stand for Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Every meeting the school board of Port Atkinson has, we read the vision statement and mission statement. That's why we're here, and that's why we do what we do. Our vision is to achieve distinction in all that we do. And our mission statement is to cultivate an inclusive, high-performing culture of growth and community. The comments from the audience and agenda items have been submitted to the board and are available in board packet, and the public can view them there. And we will go ahead and move on beyond that to non-instruction.
Yes, there was a request for a special meeting to discuss school operations, which is the report that we've been discussing, COVID and related mitigation strategies and those types of things over the past many months. To have a special meeting in advance of the regular meeting, which, as we all know, is rescheduled to next Monday, which is the 13th, where we have a number of important items for us to cover that evening as well. I was anticipating that the board would be interested in just a couple of reminders. One is that we currently have a face covering requirement in all indoor spaces in each of the 4 elementary schools and the middle school when students are present. And then we have another resolution that makes it optional with co-curricular athletic events when engaged in athletic action. And then a third resolution that face coverings be required for 4K 8H students engaged in school activities. So this evening, the first one is set to expire through or at the end of the day on December 16th, which is of course next Thursday. So I'll circle back to the resolutions here in a second. I'm certain people were interested in district data related to COVID. As of midday today, we have 15 students of our total population that are known to be COVID positive, and then we have 2 staff members who are known to be COVID positive at this time. So should the board want to have the mask requirement expire next Thursday at the end of the day as scheduled, I would encourage you to make a resolution sort of unilaterally doing that the way that we have this put together right now, with 2 of those resolutions do not currently have a date. So the athletic piece and the when engaged in school activities resolutions don't have an expiration date, and you would need to put a resolution or an end date on those 2 resolutions if that's what you're interested in. So if you take no action this evening, the general requirement goes away at the end of next Thursday. And if you want the other 2 to go away at the end of next Thursday, then we would need to take some action there. If you would choose to take the requirement off sooner, that would require further action by the board this evening, or if you were wanting to extend the face covering requirement, that would require further action this evening as well. So I'm sorry if I confused anyone there, but in having 3 resolutions, only 1 with a date, we do need to address the other 2 regardless this evening. I'd be happy to answer any other questions that you might have, if any.
I guess I have one quick question. If we were to either now or eventually remove any mandates, wouldn't the middle, I guess, is the middle resolution just kind of doesn't really do anything?
Right.
I mean,
What? I couldn't hear it.
I mean, it basically says that they're optional when engaged in athletic activities, which you could say,
Right.
you could say that to anybody, anywhere. right? Or would we wanna like revoke that somehow? Like, is there any kind of,
So if, my suggestion would be if you were wanting the mask requirement to end at the end of the day next Thursday, is to take a resolution or make a motion that states that all mask requirements will end,
For all groups.
at the end of the day or through December 16th. I think that would clean all of that up. If you wanted to lift it earlier, of course, that would need a similar resolution. What I would say is, of the cases that we have, and I think it's fair to say over the past couple of months, we've seen cases work through families more so than specific school settings. I think there's exceptions to all of that, but most recently, we've definitely seen positively work through households.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abbott. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Abbott beyond the clarification questions?
I don't know.
No, not really.
So, discussion is, do we want this to expire December 16th? What's the general overall feeling of what everybody's thinking on this? As of whatever month this was, October, I think we
That's October.
we had these, October 26th, right? I guess for me, my feeling hasn't changed. I think December 16th is fine for masks to go optional. At that point, I think we've done our due diligence, making sure that, that the vaccines had the chance to work through anyone that was willing, wanting to do that. So I'm okay with December 16th at making that optional.
I think that's a good point, Mr. Nickram, that you just said the due diligence, and I'd like to think that that's what we've, at the bare minimum
minimum,
we've done,
yeah.
is our due diligence, even though, some of us have been through some stuff, if
Yeah.
you will. I think we did our due diligence as a board, and I personally don't know how much more time I can focus on this topic anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm here to listen to you guys and hear your guidance, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I always thought if we were gonna do it through fall, it would make sense to just get to the break. But at the same time, it's a week, so I'm not gonna argue it, I just think at this point, everybody knows everybody else's position here, I think. Obviously, parents and public have opinions, and, I still think that masks help spread or prevent germs from spreading and viruses. I think it's probably a good idea for people to wear them, but, it's probably pretty obvious to everybody at this point that this isn't gonna go away next week. We're probably going to have seasonal COVID vaccines just like the flu, and they'll be around forever. So to that end, I mean, I don't feel like mask mandates are a good, never-ending solution here. It's gonna, we got people that don't want to vaccinate, we got people that want to vaccinate, we got people that want to wear masks and people that don't want to wear masks, and I don't know if this is the best way forward, but I'm okay with it, because I think we're all kind of tired of having this conversation. So I don't have a problem with letting it expire, I guess, even though I think it should probably go on a little bit longer, but we're splitting hairs at this point, so.
Mr. Paul, what I want to return to what Mr. Nickram said, and I think that it's important, because this is something that I've thought about, is I feel like we've done everything that we could do to advocate for this position. And at this point, I think that we're beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
We made this decision with the idea, Mr. Nickram and the rest of you guys we batted this around last time we discussed this, was that we wanted to at least afford all of the options to the people who were the most fragile or exposed to this. And I feel like we've done that. We haven't necessarily reached, a 90% vaccination rate where we could, take your mask off and be completely, totally fine all the time, and not worry about, infecting or getting an infection or infecting someone else. But I think that the due diligence, I think that really hit the nail on the head. I think we've done what we, or at least I can say I've done what I think is the most I could do. And I feel like the board probably has, you know, if you guys think about it, you probably have done the most you could do to protect the most, you know, fragile and most vulnerable. So I think that this is, we're at crossroads here.
Yeah, I think I am comfortable with, to let that expire with making it optional on the 16th. And I think that, like you said, Mr. Cheney, we need to start focusing on other things that's going to make our district and our schools, you know, more prosperous as well.
I'm sure you're no stranger to the term. We've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good with letting it expire.
Okay.
And I also think it's good too that we have a place now to where, you know, if kids are starting to get sick, they can feel okay with putting a mask on for not just COVID, but, you know, for anything else too. You know, it's kind of like you either wear it or you don't. Not a big thing as much as some other things are right now.
So I guess, Dr. Abbott, is there language you'd recommend? I mean,
So we do have a sample resolution, and it reads as such: be it resolved that face coverings be made optional for all groups when on school district of Fort Atkinson property, beginning December 17th, 2021.
And that covers everything.
Yeah, and if you
All
recall, this
groups.
is a version of a resolution from June. And if you recall, there is still a federal mandate on school buses, so there is not action that you can take, thus the careful wording of when on school district of Fort Atkinson property.
Thank you, Dr. Abbott. Unless somebody feels strongly about belaboring this point, I think that we have, it's like soap in my mouth that I'd like to talk about this some more. But does anybody else have anything? I don't want to stifle the conversation. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to say?
Nope.
Seeing
We're good.
seeing no one motion, then we can go ahead and entertain a motion there.
Need a date on this, right? It doesn't have a date on.
Yeah, I added the December
17th.
17th.
Yeah. All right, be resolved that face coverings be made optional for all groups when on school district of Fort Atkinson property effective December 17th.
I second.
So a motion by Mr. Nikram, a second by Mrs. Bukta, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And that passes. Moving forward, we have everybody's favorite motion, the motion to adjourn.
Be resolved that the Board of Education adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Nikram, a second by Mrs. Reynolds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? All right, thank you very much, everybody. 5:43. Have a good night.
I think that's the quickest ever.
That has to sit on.
It's got
maybe if we just have one meeting a day, every day.